Hey everyone, my name is Yoshi and I play the bass. And today we're going to be talking about the three different kinds of orchestra. Now, I know what you're about to ask, and the answer is yes! There are many different ways you can categorize an orchestra. You can categorize it based on genre, region, pay, and whatever. So on one hand you have the Electric Light Orchestra, and on the other hand you have the Boston Symphony. And on one hand you have the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and on the other hand you have the New York Philharmonic. And today we're going to be talking about the three main types of orchestras based on pay. Now orchestras, much like restaurants, can be divided up based on how much they pay. For example, if you were going out on a Friday night and let's say you wanted to spend not so much money, you would go on your phone, flip through Google and say, oh, this one restaurant has only $1 sign next to it. So an example of that would be Chipotle. Now to roll down there with my Honda Fit, be like, all right, I'm gonna get my $8 burrito bowl to go. And that'll be my Friday night. But if I wanted to spend hundreds of dollars, I would look for restaurants that have $3, $4, maybe $5 signs. Does it go up to 5? I'm not sure. And so I roll up in my Lamborghini and get a $500 appetizer and a $200 bottle of wine. So orchestras, much like restaurants, can be divided up into three main types of pay breakdown. The first is the full-time orchestra. The second is the regional orchestra. And the third is the community orchestra. And we will start by talking about the full-time orchestra. Now the full-time orchestra is called the full-time orchestra because it pays a full-time salary. Now, if you or anybody you know have shown up to any one of these full-time auditions, you know that people fly in from all over the country and all over different parts of the world to be able to take this audition. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? If you're going to uproot your life and move to a different part of the country or part of the world, you better have set yourself up a good job there, right? One that pays all of the bills, not some of the bills. Much like famous restaurants, people fly in from all over the world to try the best sushi in the world, or best burritos, or best burgers, or anything. Now, some examples of full-time orchestras are the New York Philharmonic, the Los Angeles Philharmonic, the Cleveland Orchestra, the Houston Symphony, and so on. And based on some quick research, full-time salaries range somewhere around the $25,000 range, all the way up into the six figures, especially if you have been with the orchestra for a while. Not bad for a full-time gig. Now the second type of orchestra that we'll talk about is called the regional orchestra. Now it's called a regional orchestra because it primarily pulls from the immediate region to fill out and flesh out the orchestra. Part of that has to do with pay as well, and that's also why regional orchestras are called PerService Orchestras. They're called PerService Orchestras because they pay per service. Now, what is a service? A service can be anything like a rehearsal, a recording session, a dress rehearsal, a concert, stuff like that. So an orchestra will hire you for 3 rehearsals, a recording session, and 2 concerts. So for a total of 6 services. And they'll pay somewhere between $50 and $150 on average for these services. Now the caveat to these per-service orchestras is often they'll have 6 to maybe 15 weeks per season. So it's not like you're making a few $100s a week to be able to make your living, but they don't even play every week, which is why often people who play in these regional or per-service orchestras supplement their income with another job, which is why it's called the per-service orchestra. Some examples of per-service orchestras are the Maryland Symphony, the Annapolis Symphony, the El Paso Symphony, and so on. And last, but certainly not least, the third type of orchestra that we'll talk about is the community orchestra. Now these are your doctors by day, lawyers by day, baristas by day, teachers by day, whatever. They have a non-musical job, and most likely they played music in middle school, high school, and maybe they even majored in college as a music major and decided that music really wasn't for them as far as job prospects go. But they still love playing in orchestra. So they got a job doing something else to support them financially. And much like people go out to Chipotle on Friday nights to hang out with their friends on their Honda Fits, or they go out to the club, or they go to the bar, or whatever, these music lovers in the community orchestra come together on Friday nights and play concerts, right? I mean, Shostakovich, Beethoven, Brahms, yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. And some examples of these community orchestras are the Hopkins Symphony Orchestra, the Columbia Orchestra, the PG Philharmonic, and so on. Now, that was a brief overview of the three main types of orchestras. In reality, you'll see that many different orchestras take these business models or take some sort of hybrid between the two. For example, there are some orchestras out there that pay the first or second stand of all instruments and all sections with full-time salaries, and they flesh out the rest of the sections with per-service members. And there are some community orchestras that pay their principals and their conductor. So type in the comments below what type of orchestra you have or currently play in, and I hope you found this useful. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll be posting more videos in the future, and thanks for tuning in. Until next time.